They say every Hollywood party has a story, but this one allegedly didn't end with champagne or selfies. It ended with whispers, sirens, and a hospital room that nobody wants to talk about. Somewhere between flashing lights and screaming phones, Chrisean rock became the center of a rumor so explosive it made the internet hit refresh like rent was due. Now here's where it gets wild. Online chatter claims a party turned ugly, then chaotic, then allegedly crossed into something far darker. Not a scuffle, not a misunderstanding. We're talking alleged injuries, emergency care. And one phrase that sent fans spiraling: pregnancy complications. And before anyone jumps in yelling receipts, relax, this story didn't come from a press release. It leaked the way all modern scandals do, sideways, blurry, and dripping with panic, screenshots, demissed, deleted posts. That one friend of a friend who knows somebody, the timeline, messy, the details, murky, the reactions, nuclear. This isn't just gossip, it's the kind of online explosion that makes reality TV look like a lullaby. The Kardashians could never move this recklessly. So what really happened that night? Why did the narrative flip from party vibes to hospital alarms in hours? And why are fans convinced this is only the beginning? Stay locked in, because once you hear how this allegedly unfolded, there's no unhearing it. The night allegedly started the way so many influencer gatherings do: too much noise, too many egos, and not enough common sense. One of those parties where everyone's smiling for the camera but side-eyeing each other off-screen, where the music's loud enough to drown out bad decisions and the drinks are flowing like consequences don't exist. On the surface, it looked like another forgettable industry function. Underneath, according to online whispers, it was a ticking time bomb. Here's where the story allegedly turns. Social media users claim there was a sudden shift in energy, the kind you feel before something goes left. Laughs allegedly got shorter. Conversations allegedly got sharper. Phones allegedly stayed recording a little too long. And when people online say something felt off, that's usually code for chaos loading. No official statements, no confirmed timeline, just fragments, demiss from people claiming they were there. Posts saying I can't say much, but wow stories, uploaded and deleted faster than a bad PR move. And that's when the internet started paying attention, because nothing screams scandal like everyone pretending nothing happened. According to circulating rumors, an argument allegedly sparked inside the party. Not a playful back and forth, not reality TV banter, but something heavier, something personal. The kind of disagreement that doesn't belong near flashing lights and crowded rooms. Details vary depending on who you ask, which only made things worse. One version says voices were raised, another claims things got physical, a third insists it all happened off camera, which in 2026 is almost suspicious on its own. What sent fans spiraling wasn't just the alleged altercation, it was what supposedly came next. The word hospital began popping up in comment sections like a bad omen, not as a joke, not as exaggeration, but whispered with concern. Screenshots claiming emergency care, messages suggesting medical attention was needed immediately. And suddenly, the story stopped being about party drama and started feeling dangerously real. Then came the phrase that lit the internet on fire: pregnancy complications, allegedly. Emphasis on allegedly. No confirmation, no documentation, just a rumor spreading faster than facts ever do. But once that idea entered the conversation, everything changed. This wasn't tea anymore. This wasn't entertainment. This was fear wrapped in speculation, and the audience felt it instantly. Fans began connecting dots that may or may not exist. Old interviews resurfaced. Past concerns were dragged back into the spotlight. Every clip was reanalyzed like a Zapruder film. People started asking questions that had no answers, which only made the silence louder. Because if everything was fine, why not say so? And if it wasn't, why was no one explaining anything? The absence of clarity became the storyline. No press release, no calm reassurance, no she's okay. Everyone relax. Just radio silence and a digital crowd growing restless by the hour. That silence did more damage than any rumor ever could. In the influencer era, not speaking is interpreted as hiding something, even if that something is just privacy. As the night allegedly turned into early morning, online speculation claimed she was no longer at the party. No goodbye posts, no selfies from the car, just gone. Fans noticed immediately. Because the internet notices everything when someone disappears. Mid-drama, people don't assume sleep, they assume sirens. By sunrise, reaction pages were already framing the story as a crisis. Some tried to slow the narrative down, reminding viewers that rumors are not facts. Others poured gasoline on the situation, using words like brutal, vicious, and covered up. The truth didn't matter anymore. The perception had taken control, and perception online is a runaway train with no brakes. What made this moment feel different heavier was the tone shift across platforms. Normally, scandal content is loud, jokey, chaotic. This time, even the meme pages hesitated. Comments weren't laughing. They were worried, angry, demanding answers from people who had none. When internet clout chasers stopped chasing clout, you know the story hit a nerve. And let's be honest for a second. The industry loves chaos until it looks like someone might actually get hurt. That's when everyone suddenly remembers words like privacy and mental health. Allegedly, people at the party who were quick to post earlier went quiet. Accounts went private. Tags disappeared. The digital cleanup began, and cleanup is never a good sign. Online detectives took that as confirmation. Why delete if nothing happened? Became the question repeated thousands of times. And once that question is asked enough, it stops being a question and starts becoming an accusation. The pregnancy rumor continued to loom over everything like a storm cloud. Even people who normally thrived on drama started saying, if this part is true, this is bigger than gossip. And that's the moment when a scandal crosses the line from viral to volatile. No one knew what was real. Everyone knew something felt wrong. The lack of verified information didn't calm the situation, it fueled it. Because the internet doesn't wait for facts. It fills the gaps with imagination, fear, and outrage, then calls it truth. By the time mainstream audiences caught wind of the story, the narrative was already set. Party, altercation, hospital, pregnancy in danger. Whether any of it was accurate, it almost didn't matter anymore. The story had legs, and it was running. This wasn't just another messy night being dissected for clicks. This felt like the opening chapter of something darker, something with real consequences, something that wouldn't be wrapped up in a single post or forgotten by the next trending topic. And as fans refreshed their feeds, waiting for clarity that never came, one thing became painfully clear. Whatever happened that night, whatever the truth actually is, it didn't end when the music stopped. It followed everyone straight into the morning, dragging questions, fear, and outrage along with it. Because when a party allegedly ends with a hospital visit and rumors of a pregnancy at risk, that's not just drama, that's a line crossed. And the internet, once it senses blood in the water, never lets go. By the time the rumor hit full oxygen, the internet wasn't reacting anymore, it was writing, not with pitchforks, but with comment sections, live streams, and think pieces from people who discovered journalism 5 minutes ago. The story didn't just spread, it mutated. Every repost added a new detail. Every reaction video stretched the narrative until it barely resembled the original whisper that started it all. What made this spiral especially vicious was how fast public concern flipped into public outrage. It wasn't just "is she okay?" anymore. It became "who let this happen? Why was nobody protecting her? How does a party turn into a medical emergency suddenly?" Everyone online was a moral authority with a Wi-Fi connection. Influencer culture loves mess, but this felt different. This wasn't to people yelling on camera for clout. This wasn't a fake beat timed perfectly for promo. This was allegedly real harm layered with the most dangerous ingredient of all, uncertainty. And uncertainty online is like gasoline poured directly onto paranoia. Reaction channels went live within hours. Some tried to sound responsible, repeating the word allegedly like a prayer. Others leaned all the way in, using thumbnails that screamed catastrophe. One creator compared the situation to a reality show episode that should have never aired. Another said this made celebrity party culture look like a liability lawsuit waiting to happen. Then came the memes, because of course they did. But these weren't the playful kind. These were nervous jokes, coping humor, the internet laughing because it didn't know what else to do. Posts joked about how this made scripted television look soft. Others said this was what happens when fame mixes with unchecked chaos and nobody hits pause. At the same time, concern kept leaking through the cracks. Even accounts known for ruthless commentary slowed their tone. Some pinned comments reminding followers that rumors are not facts. That alone told you how serious the situation felt. When the cloud economy hesitates, something is off. Public outrage sharpened when people started asking why there were no clear answers, no update, no confirmation, no denial. In the age of instant statements and carefully worded apologies, silence feels intentional. Fans interpreted it as avoidance. Critics called it damage control. Supporters said privacy mattered. Nobody agreed, which only intensified the noise. Then, the pregnancy rumor surged again, louder this time, not because of new information, but because of repetition. When enough people repeat a claim, it starts sounding real even if it isn't. Comment sections filled with panic emojis, prayer, hands, and demands for accountability. Suddenly, this wasn't just about one night. It was about responsibility, safety, and whether the industry treats people like content instead of humans. Celebrity adjacency poured fuel on the fire. Anyone even remotely connected was dragged into the conversation. Old beefs were revived, past controversies were reframed as patterns. People online love a narrative arc, and they were busy writing one in real time. Some fans accused party organizers of negligence, others blamed entourages. A few pointed fingers at the culture itself, an environment where chaos is entertainment until it crosses into something irreversible. Every opinion sounded definitive, even though nobody actually knew what happened. And here's the brutal irony. The more people demanded clarity, the harder clarity became. Any statement released now would be dissected, doubted, and accused of lying. The internet had already decided there was more to the story. Once that belief takes hold, facts don't. Correct if they compete with it. Live streams multiplied. Reaction after reaction after reaction. Each one recycling the same core questions but phrasing them differently, stretching minutes into hours. Viewers stayed glued, not because there was new information, but because silence felt unbearable. Pop culture comparisons went wild. Some likened the situation to infamous celebrity meltdowns where warning signs were ignored until it was too late. Others joked darkly that this was why reality television producers sleep just fine, because real life is already more dramatic than anything scripted. The jokes landed awkwardly, half laughs mixed with discomfort. As outrage peaked, a split formed in the audience. One side demanded accountability immediately, regardless of facts. The other begged people to slow down, warning that speculation could cause real harm. Both sides shouted past each other. Nobody listened. Meanwhile, every minor movement, likes, follows, unfollows, was treated like breaking news. Screenshots circulated analyzing who interacted with what and when. This wasn't fandom anymore. It was surveillance disguised as concern. The situation had officially outgrown the original event. It became a symbol, a warning, a case study in how quickly things spiral when fame, rumor, and fear collide. And the pregnancy angle, whether true or not, kept the stakes sky high. That single possibility transformed the story from scandal to potential tragedy in the public mind. Brands stayed quiet, influencers distanced themselves. People who usually jump into drama suddenly found religion in sending love and prayers. The tone shift was undeniable. This wasn't fun anymore. This was tense. And yet, the audience couldn't look away. Because just beneath the outrage was a haunting question nobody wanted to say out loud. What if? This is worse than anyone realizes. By the end of the day, the internet had already convicted someone, blamed everyone, and rewritten the narrative 10 times over. The truth, whatever it actually is, was buried under reactions, speculation, and fear. But one thing was clear. This wasn't blowing over. This wasn't fading quietly into the next headline. The aftermath was coming, and it was going to hit harder than the initial shock. When the noise finally began to thin out, what remained wasn't clarity, it was fallout, the kind that settles slowly, clinging to everyone involved, whether they asked for it or not. Allegedly, the immediate chaos faded, but the damage didn't. It just changed shape. The internet moved from shock to judgment, and judgment online has a long memory and zero mercy. Silence continued to dominate, and with every hour that passed, the narrative hardened. In the absence of facts, assumptions became cement. People stopped asking what happened and started deciding what it meant. That shift is dangerous, because once meaning is assigned, reversing it is nearly impossible. Fans who had started in concern now demanded accountability. Comment sections turned into courtrooms. Every person remotely connected to that night found themselves on trial, accused of negligence, complicity, or indifference, allegedly. And no matter how many times that word was used, the weight of the accusations didn't feel hypothetical anymore. The pregnancy rumor, still unconfirmed, still speculative, cast a long shadow over everything. Even those who doubted it admitted that the possibility changed the moral stakes. It reframed the entire situation from reckless behavior to potential endangerment. That alone altered public perception permanently. Once the idea takes hold that someone vulnerable might have been at risk, the audience stops being entertained and starts being enraged. Reputations began to crack under the pressure. Not explode, crack. Quiet and follows, brands stepping back. Without saying why, invitations allegedly rescinded. The kind of industry consequences that never make headlines but quietly rewrite careers. People who thrive in chaos suddenly looked radioactive. And let's talk about the culture surrounding it. This incident didn't just put individuals under scrutiny. It put the entire ecosystem on blast. Party culture, influencer entourages, the normalization of volatility as content. Viewers started asking whether the industry profits from disorder until it turns dangerous, then pretends it's shocked when someone gets hurt. Some supporters tried to redirect the conversation toward empathy and privacy. Others accused them of enabling silence. Both sides claimed the moral high ground. The divide grew sharper, uglier, louder, nuanced round. Extremes thrived. That's always how it goes. As days passed, the lack of definitive updates became its own storyline. Each hour without clarification felt heavier than the last. People read into everything: who posted, who didn't, who liked what, who went offline. The internet doesn't just observe absence, it interprets it. Allegedly, behind the scenes, conversations were happening. Damage control, legal caution, strategic quiet, whether true or not. The perception alone was enough to fuel distrust. Fans don't like feeling managed. They like transparency, even when it's uncomfortable. And when transparency doesn't come, they assume deception. The emotional toll on the audience was visible. People weren't just mad, they were unsettled. This wasn't the usual cycle of outrage that burns hot and disappears. This lingered. It left a bad taste. It raised uncomfortable questions about where entertainment ends and responsibility begins. And here's the brutal truth the internet doesn't like to admit, even if the worst rumors aren't true. The damage from believing they might be is already done. Perception reshapes reality faster than facts ever can. Careers, trust, and public goodwill erode quietly under sustained suspicion. Some tried to pivot the narrative toward resilience. Others framed it as a wake-up call. Critics argued nothing would change because outrage fades and the machine keeps running. Maybe all of them were right in different ways. What couldn't be ignored was the shift in tone whenever this story came up. It wasn't playful, it wasn't gleeful, it was tense. Even those who built platforms on chaos tread carefully now. Everyone sensed that this crossed a line, even if no one could agree on where that line was drawn. As time moved on, attention began to drift because the internet always drifts, but the question stayed. What actually happened that night? Who failed to step in? Could it have been prevented? And why did it take rumors of serious harm for people to stop laughing? Those questions don't vanish just because the timeline refreshes. They linger beneath. The next scandal, the next viral clip, the next meltdown, they become part of the background noise, shaping how future chaos is received. And that's the real aftermath. Not just a damaged reputation or a heated debate, but a collective discomfort that something fundamental is broken, that fame rewards instability, that spectacle often comes before safety, that everyone enjoys the show until someone might actually get hurt. Whether the rumors turn out exaggerated, misunderstood, or partially true almost feels secondary now. The story already did what stories like this always do: it exposed fault lines in the culture, in the audience, in the industry that feeds both. Nothing about this feels resolved, no neat ending, no satisfying explanation. Just a lingering sense that this wasn't an isolated incident, but a symptom of something bigger and uglier simmering beneath the surface. And that's why this story refuses to die quietly. Because it isn't just about one night, one party, or one rumor. It's about what happens when chaos becomes currency and no one knows when to cash out. The internet will move on, as it always does. But the next time a party turns loud, a live goes dark, or a rumor hints at real danger, people will remember this moment. They'll pause, they'll wonder, and they'll ask themselves whether entertainment is worth the cost. Because once you've seen how fast fun can turn frightening, you never unsee it. And the shadow of this scandal, alleged, unresolved, and deeply unsettling, will follow the culture long after the trending tab forgets. And if you made it this far, congratulations, you officially survived another episode of internet chaos that somehow feels surreal to be scripted.